George.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Jason with your Hopium Free Crypto channel. Today I'm joined by a very special guest all the way across the other side of the world. Rob, Digital Asset News. Thanks very much for jumping on this morning.
Oh, it's going to be good times. It's going to be good times.
We've only just met. We've talked to each other for about 10 minutes, but it's like we're old buddies. Look at the pool in the background, the dog.
The dog. It's a tough life. These are first world problems, Jason. These are first world problems I have, but I'm glad I could share them with you.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here to share.
What do we got today? What's going on?
We got a lot of stuff today. Well, we've seen the crypto crash. We're looking at Wyckoff. We're looking at GAN. We're looking at technicals. But apparently I'm garbage at news, so I had to get someone else on who is brilliant at news, being yourself. So we're going to talk about some news. We got Nassim Taleb having a stab. We have Jim Cramer selling the bottom again and buying the tops. So we got the Jim Cramer signal. That's a technical TA signal. And we're also going to look at miners and also just discuss George being on CoffeeZilla, I guess.
George being George? We're all George, aren't we?
George, we're all George on CoffeeZilla, that's for sure. Bring on the FUD.
FUD. It's all FUD. It's all FUD. It's all FUD. This exchange, I tell you right now, I know what it is. George.
Good old George.
Good old George.
He's funny.
So Taleb, tell me real quick, because I didn't cover this yet, but when you talked about it, it perked my interest. What's going on with this guy, Nassim Taleb?
Taleb releases a dirty swan upon Bitcoin. Bitcoiners went fast to clean it. I'll show it on the stream. Here we go. Let's share. Share it up.
Technology, wait for it. It's going to happen.
Look at that.
Look at that. To infinity.
Taleb.
Okay, here we go.
Taleb, the essayist and scholar, known for his book on the extreme impact of the rare unpredictable events. Like we need that. But the Black Swan released a paper on Bitcoin with Bitcoiners jumping on what they deemed numerous inaccuracies. I also saw Peter, who I was live with on Crypto Banter a couple of weeks ago, got blocked from Taleb's Twitter this morning. That was, I'm like, don't worry about it. Jeez, they're always going after something.
First of all, how many times have you blocked somebody on Twitter? Seriously.
Me, rarely.
I've never.
I can't remember.
I have yet to do it. And I get called everything in the book. I've yet to do it because I just feel like sometimes, okay, first of all, everybody watching at home, thanks for showing up. We appreciate it. But second of all, I always think to myself, I'm like, I don't know what kind of problem this person is going into in their lives. There's probably some battle they're going to. I bet if I met this person, they're probably pretty okay. They're probably all right. And they don't really think that I'm really this big of an a-hole that they just talked to me about in Twitter. So I'm just like, whatever. And then a lot of times it actually works itself out. But I mean, that's just how I see it. Now, this guy Taleb that we're talking about here for the Black Swan event. So we were talking about this backstage before we came on. And look, he doesn't get it. He says that blockchain technology is worthless. Bitcoin, therefore, is worthless. Cryptocurrency digital assets are therefore invalid. And that is his opinion. And he's welcome to have that. But I will remind everybody, because when you see these things, you start to think to yourself, well, maybe this mathematician, this statistician is 100% correct. But you have to understand, it doesn't matter how smart you are or how worldly you are, people get it wrong all the time. And the prime example I always talk about is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's arguably one of the best investors of all time in history, at least in our livelihoods. And he even passed on Google because he goes, I don't understand. Why would anybody need Google? This makes no sense. There's no intrinsic value of Google. Remember that word, intrinsic. And we hear the same thing with Bitcoin. There's no intrinsic value of Bitcoin. So he would pass on Google. He would pass on the tech companies. And he would always talk about just getting into gold, which is an interesting thing because he just let go of a ton of his gold shares, not in gold itself, but in the mining companies that produce the gold, which if you're going to put anything kind of money into it, would be the mining operation. So we see these types of guys like Taleb. He just doesn't get it yet. And how many people have come across like a Jim Cramer, like a Scaramucci, like a Michael Saylor, who in 2013 called Bitcoin nothing, worthless garbage. And now here we are. So just take that with a grain of salt and just go, you know what? They just haven't educated themselves enough yet. And not that I'm the end all be all, but that's just my thinking, Jace. What do you got?
I've got the little transition over to Jim Cramer.
Oh, that was smooth.
And I think that was very smooth. I think that they're kind of like, they're too smart for their own good. When you get really into the the science of everything and the maths of everything, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying don't do it. It's just you start to go too far down that path, almost like a religion. It's bad if you go too far just solely on religion. You need a balance of art and science. And I think a lot of guys just end up going down that path of complete science, and they sort of miss what's actually going on.
No, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, I got to agree. And as far as like religion and going down these paths, look, Jason, how long have you been in crypto? How many years now?
Fourth year. I was early 2017.
Yeah. So me and you are the same type of thing. And the whole evolution kind of took me the same way. Like when I first got in, let me tell you, it was all about Bitcoin and XRP. And you could not tell me anything different.
It was called Ripple back then. It was called Ripple.
Yes, I remember. I remember it was Ripple, and everybody's like, and everybody chops your head off if you say Ripple versus XRP.
This guy doesn't know anything, calling it Ripple. You're like, mate, you don't know anything. You haven't been here since.
You're such a noob. Yeah. But I mean, it's amazing how as time moves on and you start to learn more things, that it shouldn't become so much of the religion, because the more that I get into the space, the more the things that I realize that I really I should know that I don't know. And there's all these things that kind of become uncovered. So everybody out there who showed up, thanks, appreciate it. But just remember that there's a lot of new things coming about. So don't be so much tribalism and religion, because you can really fall into that trap quite easily. And maybe Jim might be one of those guys. So what did Jim do?
Jim looks like he sold all of his Bitcoin at the lows. This was kind of yesterday. Well, I mean, here it's the 23rd. You guys are still afternoon of the 22nd over there in the US. So this was put out a couple of hours ago, but I remember him talking, or at least bringing this out a little earlier, and it's just saying he's selling. Bought it under 18. So for the average person, that seems like a pretty good return, right? You're buying it under 18, selling it 32 or 36, you doubled your money. But we know in crypto, you need bigger returns than that to justify the risk that you're taking.
This is just it. But I mean, do you fault him at all for taking these profits?
No, I don't fault people for taking profits. No, I fault the news and what they have to say at the particular times that they say it, because they genuinely get it the exact other way around. I think Jim Cramer, even CNBC, whatever this is, the finance show. Yeah. Remember 2017, 2018, they were saying they were bringing out buy XRP, buy Ripple. And that was the exact top back in 2018.
I remember. Yeah. You know what? It is crazy because, well, there's a couple of things to go down that road, because with Cramer, first of all, he is the same as Taleb. He was like, this makes no sense. There's no intrinsic value. Then all of a sudden he's like, okay, that kind of makes a little bit of sense, and I can see where it's going. Then all of a sudden he got a hold of Pompliano, and Pomp, gave him some information. He's like, and he was all excited about it. And then all of a sudden, a month later, he's like, hey, I'm a big gold bug, but gold is not doing it for me, and it might not be a good hedge against inflation. So I want people to do 5% gold, 5% Bitcoin, and hold. Because if that's the whole point, if you're a gold guy and you believe in the narrative of Bitcoin 2.0 or Bitcoin Gold, you hold it as a hedge against inflation, right? So it was kind of surprising to me that he sold all of his Bitcoin. Now the question, I don't know if it says in here, I wonder if he sold all his gold as well.
I don't think it says it in here. I can have a look quickly. We'll go
Jay, I don't think it is. I don't.
No, there's no word gold in here at all.
So then the question then becomes: Was Jason a believer? Of course, Jason's a believer. Was Cramer a real believer, and one of those guys who was like, yes, this is going to be the new thing, this is gold 2.0, or was it all for show and he just kind of got on the wagon, and then he said, okay, great, now I can dump it, I can pay my mortgage, which probably a pretty fat mortgage of whatever he's living in, and a nice new whip, a nice new car. So I mean, to me, I think it feels a little disingenuous. But then on top of that, the reason why, and I know somebody in the comments said that it was also that Jim Cramer said that Bitcoin would never go up. I don't know if he said that, but if he said that, he was totally wrong, because it went, I mean, I think we touched 29.4 and now we're at 32.6 maybe.
Yeah, we got around 28.8, which was the exact low back from the dip in January. And we're talking about Wyckoff schematics. I remember people have been asking me, why don't you think this is a bear market for Bitcoin? And I was telling you earlier, I've been trading trading since August 2010. And so, watching the markets, being a noob at that time, watching patterns. And let me bring up this pattern. And I was saying on the stream, the other stream, when someone asked, like, why don't you think it is? I'm like, I can't put my finger on it just yet, but I've seen it before. And so if I go across, we've got more triggers going off. This is Bitcoin currently. I'll just take all this off. That's what Bitcoin looks like. This is sort of that Wyckoff schematic.
Yeah.
We go up and we're getting weaker. On my channel, I was not getting into Bitcoin through these levels. I wasn't even buying it after we broke through those highs. I'm like, this is the time to let it run. And then everyone knows I've been banging on about 11 straight days down. This was a weak rally. This was when everyone was calling in May for 80K Bitcoin. And then we tanked. And that was the time when I was telling my guys, I'm rotating out of risky alts and into Bitcoin stable and major alts.
It's pretty solid play. Pretty solid play.
It was scaring me because 11 straight days down, people don't really watch that. And my charts look different to everyone else's. I know that, this is the way I've traded. I just don't leave it on the default setting of colored crayons, So
yeah. Well, that's actually a rarity to see. I'll be honest with you, because most people, it's all candles.
Yeah, I learned with bars with Gann. So that's just like another story. But we're looking at
story time with Jason.
I know. We can both talk forever. S&P 500.
Okay.
This was S&P through 2011.
Okay.
To me, I was looking at this and we're going up. I was a noob here, and then we had these highs come in. Look at these lower highs, and then we tanked, and then we had this sort of sideways deal and a dump. Whoop. You can see this dump into these lows, and it just took out the bottoms.
This is
just took out.
Got you. This is S&P 500 2011. That what we're looking at?
2011, yeah.
August.
So you can sort of see this is kind of similar. Bitcoin. Does that not look kind of similar to you? Or am I just talking to myself here?
No. Because, especially what you're talking about, like the sideways action, the sideways channel, and then dump. And then sideways. Yeah. But so here's the question. Can you, because the big thing that I get is Wyckoff, right? Mm-hmm. Was that what it is, and is there manipulation? So that's a question for you.
100%. 100% manipulation. But all of the markets are manipulated.
What?
They're all. Yeah, you know that. I'm not looking at you at the moment. When I look at you, I got to come back to this screen and we go into Affinity.
So you're telling me there's no Peter Pan? You're telling me there's no Tooth Fairy? This is ridiculous. Okay. So
I know, right?
So there is manipulation. It is going on. It is active. Gotcha.
Yeah. Always manipulate, all of them. S&P 500, the lot. They're just bigger players manipulating the market. And so I'm just looking at this S&P 500. This is like a classic signal where we take out the lows and then reverse. And this day closed up. Like just really little subtle things. You can see that it closed higher. So the strength was just coming into the market. The buyers were coming in, they bought it up, and then the rest is history.
So here's my question then. And I think this might be something that everybody's asking. Where are we right now in Wyckoff? And as it relates here as well.
Where are we? It's still too early to say. Like everyone wants to sort of claim it right away. But I like to have a roadmap just to give me an idea of what's potentially coming next. And if it doesn't, then at least I'm prepared for that. And so this could be an accumulation area. Mm-hmm. But if we break down from here, then this was a redistribution. And so I know that sounds a bit crappy. It's like, well, it's either or. And you're like, well, yeah, that's how it is. But you can't predict the market 100%, and it's very hard to predict it in the short term. The longer term, we all believe we're going to be in six figures, right? But the short term, we're just trying to get the best entry price and then hold and wait.
Okay. So when we're looking at this and we're going through there, what kind of confirmation are you looking for to see where we could potentially be. Because that's what a lot of good traders do. They're like, I need to wait for confirmation. I don't want to jump the gun, because the ones that do are the ones that usually, well, they pretty much trade themselves out of a position, and then it's just no good. So what kind of confirmation are you looking for here to see where we could potentially be?
A confirmation for a low to come in?
Yes. So, I mean, especially as like Wyckoff, I mean, as this chart shows.
Okay. So we've got a couple of good points already. We've got this high volume. I always look at volume. We need to see the volume here is higher than it has been over the last couple of, almost a month. You've only got this little area here, which relates to this low. We've taken out the low, then had a nice high close. So we're getting a few signals for a low coming in. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we came back and tested these areas. We measure ranges to give us an idea of where the market might drop to next. And so around the 26, 27, I'd be okay with. I just put a tweet out saying, like, buy Bitcoin. This is what I'm doing for a dollar cost averaging plan.
Yeah.
The difference with new people is they just want to buy once and be done with it. And that's not how I trade. And I don't teach to trade like that either, or to invest long term. It's like, I just want to find better opportunities to be buying in, not just go all in at once and then be sad if the market goes another 30% against me and I don't have any more powder left. Go on.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, it takes a lot of balls to do that, just to get in and go, okay, that's it. And let's see where we go.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of balls, I guess, but it's also a lot of stupidity as well, because unless you are like emotionally stable and ready for that ride, then you won't be able to go on that ride. And most people are not emotionally stable, ready for that, because they haven't experienced it yet.
So Jason, this is why I say it. So I had on my show Diddy from the Bitcoin family. And Diddy, if you guys don't know who Diddy is, he's the crazy guy who sold his house, his cars, and his business to buy Bitcoin in 2017. And he went all in.
Oh,
that's the guy.
Okay. Not the Dogecoin guy. I saw an article of him.
No.
That was like another clear signal of stupidity at the top of a market.
Yeah, that guy's insane. So Diddy, I've had him on the show a couple of times, and I'm like, Diddy, why did you do that? I mean, that makes no sense to me, to go all in and go. And I said, that takes balls. And he goes, you got to understand. He goes, I did this in 2013. He goes, I thought I was a genius because I got in and then I was actually mining things. I was mining Bitcoin, and he said it was working out pretty well. And then he goes, I sold, and he goes, all of a sudden just went to the moon, and I couldn't believe it. I was so ticked off, but I got out and I took my time, and I said, if this ever hits a certain point, I'm going all in. And because of just exactly what you said, Jason, it's not the most intelligent thing to do, and you have to be emotionally stable. And Diddy was one of the few people I've ever talked to who was so convinced, because he's heard it from his parents and grandparents about the economic failures of the past in, say, like Greece and in Germany, when they were wheeling paper fiat all over the place. He goes, that's what he sees for the entire world. So he goes, I just went in 2017, the very early parts, and I never looked back. I go, that's insane. He goes, yeah, but it worked out pretty well. I'm like, you got a point, Diddy. You got a point.
Yeah. No, that's good. And exactly what you said. People don't give it enough credit in terms of the emotional stability that you need to be a long-term investor. No way in hell do they give it that long. It's just, the price fall. Oh yeah, I'm a long-term investor now. But he practiced it once before.
Yeah.
He went in, figured it out, and that's just as important as your physical written plan.
Yeah, so it brings me to another point. So Jason, when you are trading, when you're doing all these things, like because you've done this for like 11 years. I mean, not in crypto, but you've been trading for like 11 years, right? How long did it take you to get to that point where you're just like, okay, I just lost thousands of dollars, not a big deal, I'll tackle it again? How long did it take for you just to be like emotionally set to be able to do those types of things and not break down and go, Jesus, I just lost my rent money?
Well, first of all, obviously you're not betting the rent money, but it does take quite a long time, years. But I think what sped up the process was cryptocurrency in 2017, seeing all those profits go in and then seeing all those profits come out, because it was a very different market to trading like futures, trade oil or S&P or corn, all that sort of stuff, because you have stop losses. So if it goes against you, your trade is, you're risking exact amounts every single time.
Mhm.
But with crypto, I didn't have a plan like that because I wasn't leveraging. It was just like write it all up, write it all down.
Yeah.
It was different. It was
Don't go ahead. Go ahead.
It's like trading penny stocks where some people have leverage, some don't. You just like buy all in, watch it skyrocket, and then hope for the best. You don't really have a plan to get out. So these are all, but it's just like penny stocks in this. They're all like majority of them are garbage. We know that.
Nah, this is all true. So like this is what I try to talk about on my channel, because people, it's a funny thing, because when they get into crypto, there's just these new people that they make one good buy and I think they're geniuses. And they may be geniuses, right? But I'm always telling them the same thing. I'm like, look, there's what goes up will inevitably come down, and you have to make sure that you're ready to take some profits along the way. Because if you don't, you're going to be through that cold hard winter, which I had to experience because I bought it near the top of 2017 and rode it the whole way through 2018, 19, and 20. Now I dollar cost average in because I'm not in the business of selling and losing money. But people just don't get it. They think it's an easy process, and it's not an easy process. I think we're all, if you're new to this, I think you're understanding exactly what we're talking about now.
Yeah, it's like a crash course at the moment, like a literal crash course coming down this mountain. Yeah, and it's only going to be several months, whereas we had a few years.
Yeah. Yeah, people, I mean, you guys are lucky. You have no idea. If you have to go through 2 months, no big deal. I still see the markets. I see another dip coming. I don't see us going from 32 to 34 to 38. I mean, I see some more pain coming. And even today I talked about, I could see another 28. I could see another 26 on Bitcoin. I could see the market cap hovering around the 1.1 trillion again. And that's okay, because in the long run, when in doubt, zoom out. The most successful investors, they just kind of sat on their calls, and that was it. Now traders are a different animal, and that's what Jason does. I'm not that guy. I'm just like I'm like a Winklevoss. Huh?
To the bigger time frames now, because trading on small term time frames is a pain. I only take those very rarely, and I'll just get out of the positions. But say for Bitcoin, you'll still be taking profits as we ride up. When you see like all of that extreme craziness, do you not take some profits so that you have some to throw back in?
So you always, I got to tell you, it's a weird community that we live in, right? Because as soon as you start to talk about taking profits, what do they say?
Oh, everything. I got that on my videos when I put videos up for the receipts of taking profits on ADA, and they went ballistic.
I'm
like,
you
guys, what? I'm
Judas.
like, I forget that I was talking with so many noobs. And I was like, this is just trading. Like, you need to take profit so that you can survive, But anyway.
Yeah, Jason hit the nail on the head. So everybody right here, I'm so sick and tired of that, the paper hands comment. I'm tired of that. Because here's the thing. The people that are saying paper hands, are they saying that to you because they want you to be financially stable and they really want you to make a bunch of money? Or is it because they have a ton invested into crypto and they don't want you to get out whatsoever so that the price can go up? I tend to think it's the latter. I used to say that on my channel, paper hands, and I was wrong. And that's one of those things where you live and you learn. From now on, well, I've been doing this for quite some time now. Nobody ever went broke taking profits, and my goals are not your goals. So what's good for you is good for you and your family, and I will never say anything else about that. So if you got to take profits, take profits. Jeez Louise, that's it.
Yeah. And you notice that after the fact that you sort of start to get a bit more respect later. It's like, oh, he actually did say take profits. Your channel, whoever's channel, compared to the guys who are just like buy all the way. Oh, we've fallen, buy. And I always say to the guys, like, not all dips are created equal. There are some dips that you buy, and there are some dips that you do not buy.
I'm going to steal that. I'm going to steal that.
Take it. Yeah. Take it. It's yours.
And then someone's going to ask me, someone's going to say, where'd you get that? Like, I made it up. So
no recourse there.
Someone in the comments section said that they're still butthurt about Jason dumping ADA. Ethan Fox said that. It must have hit a nerve.
Ethan Fox. He's got a little wink. I know, but I guess they think that I dumped everything. I'm like, no. It's taking some profits. It's like, you do all these videos about, oh, how do you exit? How do you get out? It's like, well, when the market rises, I take a chunk. So to cover my capital, and then it rises again, and I take a little bit of profit, so I have some more to buy back if it dips, and then I just let the rest ride. And it's like, okay, now I'm implementing the plan. You're an asshole. I'm like, whoa.
Well, of course I am. Oh, let me tell you a good story. I don't know if there's anybody from the XRP army in the chats. So
Call
sit
them
back for.
army. They'll show their faces. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, they love me, and the reason why they love me is because I sold all my XRP at one point, and they, oh my God, it was a video. I remember I said I sold all my XRP, and I did. I sold every last Ripple. No, just kidding. Every last XRP when it was at 21 cents. And the XRP army came at me. Do not leave XRP army. There's a bright ending to this story. So I sold everything, and then I bought it right back. And for some reason, that part where I talked about where I bought it all back went over everybody's head. And I was just like ostracized or something. It was just like, this guy's an idiot, which whatever. So in traditional markets, you can't wash trade. It's not allowed. But since crypto is property, you can do that. And it's called tax loss harvesting. And it saved me a bunch of money. And when I was able to take those huge losses at 21 cents, because remember, I bought XRP back in 2017 when it was, gosh, what was the highest it went?
You're like 330 or 350.
I think the highest I paid was 275. So imagine 275. I put a lot of money into it, and I sold it 21 cents, bought it right back. When I sent it to my accountant, she's like, wow, you had a lot of losses. I'm like, you're darn right I did. So put those in. And it worked out great. So I still have most of those XRPs just sitting around. I think the SEC lawsuit, I see it as probably Ripple will settle with the SEC. They'll pay them money like what the SEC wants, and they'll just move on their way. But it's going to set a precedent.
Yeah, like an EOS scenario. EOS.
Exactly. God, look at EOS. How much did EOS make? Billions of dollars, and they got fined just like
21 million or 18 million or something.
Something like, hey, we told you. And EOS is like, you guys really stuck it to us. And they paid that money, and then off they go. Although, does anybody buy EOS? Does anybody know what's going on with EOS? Because I think it's in the top 50. I still own it. I don't know why, but it's still there.
I dumped all mine. Yeah, I looked at it at 50 cents in 2017. I'm like, got to get this thing. And just bought in, just sold it at 20, and like, not coming back to it. I thought about it. But speaking of EOS, the only person I really knew that was like an EOS maxi was the guy that moved to Puerto Rico. And I was wondering about taxes and stuff in the US. Why not just move to Puerto Rico? It looks great.
So that was Brock Pierce, right?
No, it was
another guy.
YouTuber. What's his name? Colin Talks Crypto. Yeah.
Oh, Colin Talks Crypto. Yeah. Oh, I
know it's maxi. But look, we could talk about the taxes in Puerto Rico. I've asked George. I'm like, why not go to Puerto Rico? You'd save a lot. You know, I don't know what everyone else makes individually, but you'd save a killing.
What did George said? That's FUD. Don't talk to me about FUD.
No, he said no. He was just saying
everything's FUD with George. Just kidding, George.
FUD. It's FUD. Can't do it. No, he just said family and friends here. I'm like, yeah, but invite them to Puerto Rico with all the extra money that you've saved.
So as everybody knows on my channel, I'm moving to Puerto Rico in September 1st, and we've been spending time there. So here's how Puerto Rico works. First of all, there's a very large community of cryptocurrency, digital assets, investors, and early adopters that are over there. Brock Pierce being one of them. The guy, he's been involved in a lot of different things. Huh?
Yeah, we just know him from some shady things as well.
That's true. He also was in Mighty Ducks, so I give him a pass for that. Yeah, he was the child actor in Mighty Ducks, and
Bill Cosby. Come on,
Bill Cosby. That's right. So with Puerto Rico, you have to understand that here's how it works. And when you move over there, first of all, you have to go through the whole paperwork. And the paperwork's going to run you about 35 to 40K just to set up the paperwork. Okay. So if you're sitting on a nest egg of like 100K, Puerto Rico's not for you. That's it.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, you have to go through the whole process. And then you have to be sure that when you move to Puerto Rico, that you have to be there. First of all, you have to either, of course, rent or own land. You have to cut all ties with the United States, which means whatever health insurance you have, that's gone. You got to get health insurance in Puerto Rico. Also, you should also get a driver's license in Puerto Rico, and all your family has to be with you in Puerto Rico. You can't move to Puerto Rico and keep your wife in the States and have your girlfriend in Puerto Rico. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, you can't do any of that stuff. So they all have to be there, and you have to be there 6 months and 1 day. If you go outside of that time, then it doesn't. You don't get the tax benefits, and there's really 2 tax benefits. One of those is there's no capital gains tax, 0, and the second one is for corporate taxes is set at 4%. Now there is still personal taxes. So if you were the CEO of your own corporation, you have to pay yourself a reasonable salary that a CEO would be paid for in that position of whatever corporation that you are running, or LLC or S Corp or C Corp. So whatever that may be. And then one of the biggest things that our lawyer told us was, I thought that you had to sell all your crypto, pay your taxes, and then you could move to Puerto Rico and you would be set. You would start from scratch then. But the lawyers tell me that's not true. What it is when Prop 2021 and Prop 60 were created legally in 2012, there was no mention of cryptocurrencies. So for legal precedent, everything that we put into this document, we can write you an opinion, which if the IRS ever came to you, they would say, hey, you owe us this. No, here's my opinion from my lawyer, and this is what they said. And based on legal precedent, because cryptocurrency wasn't involved in Prop 2021 and 60, we are going to classify that as just straight property and not as a currency and not as a security. We're going to bring it over. And since we brought it over with us, it was on us. On the time that we moved here, it belongs to us, and we're going to sell it. We're going to pay no capital gains. Crazy, right? Which is the exact opposite of what I heard before, which was insane.
Yeah.
Now, here's the final thing I will say. Jason, I'm sorry.
No. I'm far more interested in this stuff. This is what crypto was about 2017. And then, when it starts out with the bull markets, it's just, we don't care. Make it easy. Buy on Coinbase. That's it. It's like, no. It's all about government and taxes and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, please go on.
Yeah. So the last thing was, I talked about timing. What was the other thing?
It was the difference. There was the difference with the Prop 2021, how it was before I heard you had to sell and then move over. Yeah.
So it was all about, because every single
it had to be underneath 2 million or something like that.
I'm not sure about that one.
No.
That one.
Sorry. That's another thing. Thing. Go on.
Yeah. So it wasn't just about, just moving there, but everything that we do legally, there's a legal precedent. So whatever is passed in a small circuit court or a state court or the Supreme Court takes precedent for other different cases, right? So right now, what they're talking about is that because we've set precedent already with cryptocurrency, we've already put people over here, and that we've done it this way, we have precedent in this way that it is actually made in Puerto Rico. So then there's another part where I get emails all the time like, well, aren't you concerned that the U.S. government's going to make Puerto Rico the 51st state? Well, good luck. They've been trying that for 25 years. Don't think it's going to happen. And then people are like, well, aren't you concerned that they're going to raise the capital gains in Puerto Rico? Well, good luck, because what's great, when you move over to Puerto Rico, one of the stipulations also is that on the second year that you're there, first of all, you have to pay 10 grand per year to do these types of things. And then the second part is you should be some type of, what is the term? Job creator. I mean, that's the loose term, right? So when you move over there, it's to do job creation, not to destroy Puerto Rico, but to enrich it a little bit more. So when we go over there, we've got a lot of ideas for that. And that's why we're going to Puerto Rico. Oh, the last thing is that, for 6 months and a day, that doesn't mean that you can't stay 2 months in Puerto Rico, then fly back to wherever you're from for a month, then fly to Puerto Rico for a month, then go back 2 months for someplace else and just go back and forth. As long as it's 6 months and a day, then you're there, which, let's be honest, there's a lot worse places you can be than Puerto Rico for taxes. For tax purposes. It's a great place. It's beautiful.
Do they have any hurricanes and stuff?
Oh, they got a ton of those. Yeah.
But their properties are built to sustain hurricanes, kind of.
So the thing with over there is that there's twofold. First of all, they are built to sustain the hurricanes. Maria was a whole different animal. And that's one of the times when you really hear about the infrastructure really breaking down, because the infrastructure wasn't built for that kind of devastation. They tried to build things up as far as like electricity. And even today, there are still problems with the electrical power grid. If you're in Puerto Rico, you can corroborate my story, where there is rolling power outages sometimes when the weather gets pretty poor. So that's a problem. That's why a lot of people have generators in Puerto Rico, even though it's like, some very rich people over there. And that's one of those downfalls. And then other things people will say, well, what about the language barrier? Well, first of all, a lot of people, almost everybody speaks English there anyhow, but they also speak Spanish. Thankfully, I speak just enough Spanish to be dangerous, so it doesn't really matter to me. And that's
it's enough Spanish to have a girlfriend.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, my wife, my wife's from Juarez, Mexico, so I mean, she's straight. She's good there with Spanish.
Right. Easy done.
Yeah.
Easy done. Yeah, I came across another YouTube channel. It's a younger girl, Mariah, who's in all crypto stuff. Have you seen her channel? And she just lives in Puerto Rico, just going hard on like Nexo and BlockFi and all this stuff, and yeah, just living it up over there. I'm like, it's pretty cool. Yeah, my fiance is from California, but we want to do eventually she's got a permanent residency here and eventually renounce the US citizenship. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that, but eventually get rid of that because of US government follows you everywhere, to take your taxes from you.
Oh man, America, we love our taxes, and we will get it any way, shape, or form. That's the problem. So yeah, unless you want to pay taxes over there, you got to renounce. But I mean, from what I understand, as long as if she goes over there, gets her citizenship there first, and then renounces, I think it's okay. But obviously, I don't know.
You have to have another citizenship before you can renounce. And I've got another couple of friends, Toby and Heidi. They're from Crypto Tips. Do you remember their channel from?
Is he a surfer? Days? He's a surfer, and they're in Kitka, right?
They were St. Kitts. They got their citizenship St. Kitts.
Yeah, I
renounced US.
I just watched his video last night, matter of fact, where he was talking about how he renounced his citizenship. His wife did it first. He did it second. And I've seen them.
Doing good. They're over in Indonesia now, West Sumatra, I think, surfing the big waves over there.
See, like,
crazy.
And
living in Portugal, crypto taxes, another good place.
Portugal is huge. So like everybody out there just watching the channel, I mean, this is the greatest thing about crypto is that it gives us the ability to actually dream and give us these freedom units. I don't want to call them like cash or money or whatever else, but whatever it is that gives you freedom to stop you from that soul-sucking job that you're at, which I'm sure, some of us have lived in those jobs. It allows you to get out of that and do the things that you really would like to do with your family, your friends, your kids, and everything else. And it just takes a lot of work. I mean, what me and Jason are talking about, it's not easy to get here. But if you can do it, I mean, the payoff's pretty great.
Yeah, huge. And what are your dreams then? I was going to ask you that because you want to move to Puerto Rico. What else can we do after crypto? I think it's really important to be at least talking about that, thinking about that, because a lot of people just come to make money, and it's like, well, you're never going to make the money unless you have another purpose for it. And they don't want to know. It's just like, I just want to throw my money in Shiba Inu or something and just make tons of money. It's like, if you don't have a purpose, you'll just ride the market back down because you don't know where that level is to get out. Yeah. So, yeah, if you feel like talking about them, let us know. For Puerto Rico, other things that we can do.
These are the big lofty questions. These are the big lofty questions that I actually ask a lot of my guests. And usually the answer, I remember I asked this exact same question to Alex over at Alex Mascioli. And he said, I don't know, buy another Ferrari. I go, Alex, that's not really getting into the whole chapter of the universe. He's like, man, I don't know. He goes, I could buy something else. What else I can do it? I go, what are you going to do when you have, you don't need money, at some point. Yeah. He's like, I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. Alex is a funny guy. But so like, these are the things that I think about because like when so in 2015, me and my wife separated for a short amount of time. And I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's an awful place.
Lived it up.
Yeah, it's just
short of time. I'm going to take all of that opportunity.
Yeah. It was the worst place to be when you were, you're a little younger and you have no responsibilities, kids in our with you and everything else. And then like, it was just it was a weird time. And also I had just stopped working in the medical industry and started my own online businesses. And it was just like easy money. So I was like, I'm out of here. So I'm in Las Vegas for 2 years. And over time, you start to realize that that party lifestyle that you see on like an Instagram and Facebook and everything else, it really does kind of grind you down after a while. And it's not all this crap. It's great. And don't get me wrong. It's great in the beginning. It's awesome. But then after so much time, you're like, this is not what life is all about. And then you start to realize that there's bigger things out there. And there was this book from Tony Hsieh, Delivering Happiness. Tony Hsieh was the founder and CEO of Zappos. And he talked about how much money he made in life, the same type of thing. And then he just talks about, you know, finding that greater purpose, whatever that is. So like for me, when I got done with living that all out, me and my wife got back together and things kind of just fell in the right way. And now as I get older, and now the businesses that I have run themselves, right? My online education business runs itself. The Amazon business runs itself. We got a sports center that we have somebody else run that. So like for this, like the reason why I did this channel was just to educate people because I was just bored, really what it came down to. And then now I think about the bigger things. Well, how do I help people? That's why I made danteachescrypto.com. It's a 100% free website. So I don't care if you are in North America or you are in India or you're in Sub-Saharan Africa. If you have an internet connection, you can go to the website and learn most of the things you want to know about as far as crypto and how to get started. And then that's why we also created Digital Asset News or the D-News Cardano Stake Pool, because every epoch, we give 100 ADA to kiva.org, which is it's a microloans throughout people throughout the entire globe to help them do the things they want to do. So when I take a look at
automated,
what's that? No, I have to do
all automated. You have to do a manual transfer. Okay, yeah.
So what I do is I take 100 ADA. Sometimes I forget I'm so busy. Sometimes I'm like, I back up to like 2 or 3 weeks, and I just take like 300 ADA, whatever the price is, transfer it out, take the money, distributed amongst different people for microloans. And then
that's a good idea. Good.
Yeah. And actually I got the idea from my wife because she's much smarter than me. And then it works out pretty well. And then so like going down that road, like what's the next thing to do? Well, I like the fact of keeping my own money so I can do the things that I want to do with it. I like the fact of moving into Puerto Rico and actually doing job creation. And I actually like talking on cryptocurrency, and I can do that anywhere in the world just with an internet connection. So that's where we're kind of going.
All right. It's all coming together. I see what you mean. Coming together. Yeah.
So Jason, what about you? I mean, come on. How many trades can you do in your life? You probably like, okay, I'm loaded. What do I do now?
Exactly. I've like you, like me. I'm not now needing to do it for money. Making money is great because I mean we're on a finance channel. It's what we have as part of something that that we all love to do here. Yeah. But it's got to be something else to it. And I guess I just started playing around with. It hasn't been that long for me, last month, this month, just to start donating to things, but anonymously, reasonable chunks of money, what people would consider reasonable, I guess. But just to see what that feels like and see where I want to take it from that point. So that's kind of like the donation side. But like, if I could, I've got like the big goal, which seems unattainable, and I don't mind having one of those goals. There's no pressure. It's around getting rid of all personal income tax. So taxes on productivity. I think that is wrong. Fundamentally, I don't like living in a world like that, where you tax productivity and you don't tax things that, that are gaining value just for the sake of sitting on them. Example, land. Land is barely taxable. People are, there's taxes on land. It's like, not really when it comes to your personal income tax. And you basically work for the government for about 5 months of the year, and then you get your money.
Yeah.
And that's not really that much. So that's like my higher, this goal that just seems way off in the fairyland. But I've got some ideas. I've been talking, I learned that off some other economists and things to do with the property cycle. Yeah. So I don't know how I'll get there, but that's kind of what I keep coming back to.
Property cycle. That's one of me and my wife's different things that we like to do, which is property investment and run short-term rentals. So Airbnb. So again, like everybody watching the video, it's not just like just getting into crypto and getting a bunch of money and getting out. Maybe there's some other types of things that you might want to do. Like, okay, so for example, the first time we went to Puerto Rico, the first thing we looked at was properties, because that's what we like to do.
Yeah,
Found a condo. It was already being rented on Airbnb short term. It was already booked 6 months solid. And we said, hey, we'd like to get one of those. Let's buy that. And it worked out pretty well. And the reason why the guy was selling it was because he was trying to get into an eight unit property and needed a bunch of money. So it worked out great for us. I actually offered the guy, I was like, hey, do you take Bitcoin? Because I will pay you Bitcoin right now for this property. And he's like, no. And I go, okay. And this was, I think this was when like, I want to say it was like when Bitcoin was like 40,000. And then like, we went through the whole, actually we just paid cash for it, right? So then like in a month it went to like 60,000. I was like, see, Victor, told you, should have taken that Bitcoin. But
Victor.
Yeah.
That's like the stereotypical Mexican name, isn't it? Spanish.
Something like that.
At least it's right here. Yeah.
Victor. And that was it. And then it's great to have multiple streams of revenue, and it works out pretty well. So yeah. What do we got? That's right, man. Look, not only do I have a big nose, I have a big head. So if I could ever get into Coke, it would be a lot of it. Let me tell you right now.
Yeah, run it across the border is easy.
Well, hey, man, I'm in El Paso, Texas. I'm like 5 minutes away from Juarez, Mexico.
You could just sniff it up from the other side of the border.
Let me tell you. No. I'm still waiting for legalization of marijuana. So we'll see. What do we got?
Someone was mentioning about taxes and whatnot. And no, I'm not about not paying for things and not contributing to society. It's the people don't get, and it's the little guys who are getting taxed on their $60,000 incomes, $100,000, $40,000, paying $5,000 tax or $20,000 tax. That part, it's like it doesn't really do that much in the space of things, but it's a lot to a person on $80,000 a year or $60,000 a year. I'm saying tax the land, which is where all of the profits end up going back to. The land at the end of the cycle. If you're interested, go and check that book out there, The Secret Life of Real Estate and Banking.
Ooh, nice.
18 years cycle. Phil Anderson's talked about it. Fred Harrison, who's called The Tops, based on early 1900s cycles as well. So it's very, very interesting. Looking for another peak in a few years' time. So we're going up. But yeah, look, I will leave it at that because people sort of get a little bit antsy when it comes to taxes. I'm saying we should be contributing to society, but it shouldn't come from productivity. Land is where it's at. The wealthy can own land, and then everyone gets sort of they get priced out of the market essentially.
Yeah, I'll just say this about taxes. Look, how much did Jeff Bezos pay? How much did Elon Musk pay? How much did Warren Buffett pay?
Millions and millions and millions.
So it is one of those things. And then also like people will say this on my channel, like, you want to get away from taxes and you don't want to contribute to the society. Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I feel like I'm on the WWE.
Yeah.
Look, I started working as a kid as 15 years old, and then went all the way through high school, worked all the way through that, did 8 years service in the Army, and I paid a bunch of taxes, got out, worked in the medical industry for another 15 years. And let me tell you, I have been paying nothing but taxes for that forever. And if the government is going to use that money frivolously, on top of the fact of using quantitative easing and printing 30% of the total supply of money in the last 18 months, no, you're not going to take money from me and take food off of my table for that, for no really great reason.
Time. It's your time. People don't value their time enough. It's like if you looked at it as your time, you wouldn't be allowing them just to be locked up in a jail for 5 months of the year to pay them back when they just print the money off. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Well, it's unfortunately how we see things and how it is. But I just don't see it that way. That's just me.
Which way? Sorry.
Oh, as like we should blindly pay as many taxes as the government imposes on to us.
Yeah.
I think we pay pretty well. Nice recovery for Bitcoin. Exactly.
So Rob, thank you for your service. I know this is a good American line.
It is a great American line. I have it tattooed on my arm. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So like, everybody use. Thanks you. I appreciate it. And you know what? I mean, getting back to the market real quick. It was a heck of a turnaround. But where do we go from here? That's the real question. Do you think we just go sideways for a while? I mean, I know we already talked about it, but it's always interesting to me.
We should talk about it again a little bit. Yeah, we were talking about manipulation. That's what I put in the titles. But
look, everything is manipulated.
Yeah, then when we get onto the taxes, that always goes on a big one. You speak way too well to be former Army. I was guessing Air Force.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey, you know what? Those Air Force guys, they do their job. They gave us rides around. I really appreciate those guys. I just ran around as a medic, try to save as many people as I could. So yeah.
Oh.
So the Wyckoff, what do we got?
Okay, Wyckoff. I was just saying, Jason, you look like you've been crying. I was laughing a little bit too much earlier, and I'm like, I'm going to look like I'm going to start crying. But yeah.
I do that to hosts. I make them cry. Ask George.
You bastard.
Ask George.
Yeah.
Rob, you're just FUD. F2 pool.
Yeah, that's right. We uncovered the F2 pool. I love that.
Dude, George
is great.
George is great. George, man, he hit that. He found that gem and just dug it for all it's worth. And he's like, F2 pool, F2 pool, F2 pool. And then I was talking to the guys from Market Rebellion. I'm like, hey, you guys know that guy George? He's like, is he the F2 pool guy? I'm like, yeah. Have you guys heard the show? Like, oh man, that guy's great.
He does a great job at entertaining. He's a good entertainer.
Yeah.
I think so. Where are we now? Yes, Wyckoff. It looks like we're at accumulation. Obviously, it could be redistribution, and I'm not calling anything. We'll have a look at the chart just quickly. We had a great conversation. Let's go to look at the chart.
Oh,
we go.
Elias Gutierrez, I do taxes on the east side.
Let me get rid of this. Got a few lines and stuff. So the scenarios that I look for. We've removed that. Okay, so we are going we're going up at the moment. There we go, 33,700. That's great.
No
We've seen
kidding.
another first up day.
Hey.
Anything can happen along here. Dip down, do whatever it needs to do. The first sign I really want to see is a break above the highs and then a retest. That's pretty much the age-old safety.
What are you looking at, Jason, for like levels? Which level are you looking at to break above?
Oh, prices. Oh, yeah. We need prices, don't we? We do need prices. I look for a bit of structure. Prices, 50%. 50% are good levels. I'll get rid of this so it looks a little bit cleaner for everyone. We want this. Let's go from the first high here to now this new low. So it's around 44. I was looking for around 45 when we had the previous low. So let's bring it around 45. And now we've got a new low. So 50% is around the 44K.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
First level we need to get through is 42. I remember seeing Twitter was like 41. New Bitcoin 41K. I'm like, that doesn't look like a great high right there.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone was jumping off their seats. And I put a video up here saying I'm not buying this Bitcoin pump, but I bought the lows here because I could see the volume come in. You can see this nice key reversal. We've got another one here. A key reversal is this sort of pattern which you would see on a candle as a what's from the bottom? The shooting stars from the top. But essentially there's this little pattern here. And we've got another one today. But it has to come at the end of a downtrend, like a really solid downtrend. We saw market sentiment get absolutely crushed. Everyone's bearish. And, it's a good buying opportunity as a dollar cost averaging method, not an all-in, because we don't have all of the other the signals yet to give us the confirmation. So we want to be up. We want to get above this level first, then this level, which is 42 and 44. And then, of course, we need to overcome the previous lows, which was set back at 48.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. Seems like a long way away now, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, I remember when 20,000 Bitcoin was unreachable and 1 trillion market cap was just insane. So.
Oh, yeah, back through these areas, we're like, oh man, 10,000. It's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna. Never.
Here's a big one. Here's a big one for your audience. This bar here, 43,600. This is the 19th of May. When overcoming that is going to be very, very helpful. That's because that was pretty much the bar that really cemented everything just getting crushed. And so if we can overcome that, then this market psychology potentially shifts. Like we have a better opportunity for it shifting from that point. That was through here. I was talking with George, I think in these areas. I did a live on his channel.
Yeah.
And we just had this bar in mind, the 18th of April. And all I was calling every single video, 60,500. Don't get too bullish until we're at 60,500, because this was the change of behavior bar, which is in Wyckoff, which you don't hear that because it's too much information for a lot of people, right?
Right.
Have you heard of change of behavior, all these sorts of stuff? All the little notes that you see on a Wyckoff schematic, and they have the little abbreviations.
Yeah.
That's what they stand for. And so this bar here is change of behavior, and we need to get above that. And we never reached it. You can see how close we got there. 59,500, 59,600, and then it got crushed. And so I wasn't bullish from that point. And I was, again, you're an idiot for not getting in on things. I'm like, nope, I'm okay.
I'm gonna miss more opportunities than I take. Warren Buffett. And it seems to work out okay for him. So yes.
True. Very true.
No, man.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking at coming up. 40, obviously, 42 is the next one. It's not that far off. The risk to the downside is not that bad. That's why I like buying at these levels. I'm way more bullish at this time than I was at 50 and 60K. I was scared buying then. Were you? You weren't buying then, were you?
50 or no? I mean, because I've stopped a long time ago with Bitcoin, because I always feel like if you look at the 4-year cycles and what has happened before, I see how we went from like 1,000 to 20,000 in our last in 2017, and I kind of feel like we were supposed to go from 20 to between 90 and 130K for Bitcoin this cycle, and I kind of felt like we would regress into the crypto winter, probably to around 40, 35. So I was like, you know what? There's more of an upside for other lower caps that I want to get into that have a good team. They have real utility, and they're actually doing something. So I invested a little bit more into those projects because, I mean, for us to, I mean, look, even if we're at 34 right now, right? I mean, to get back to our point, just to double your money, you're looking at, if my math is correct, 68,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of ways to go. But I mean, take a look at something like really low. Like I like a couple of projects. There's one I like called Silo. Whoa.
You didn't pay me to shill your coins on the channel.
Wait. I am the king of the shill. So wait for this, Jason. So this one, so I like Silo because it's like decentralized WhatsApp. It's like decentralized WhatsApp, Filecoin, and Venmo rolled together. And guess what? I actually use it on my phone. I can use it right now. So that one, I like Cardano. I like even Ethereum, I think can go up to 8, 6, 7, 8K. It all depends on EIP 1559. That's the big thing. That's
going to come through though.
Which one?
EIP 1559.
What do you think about that? Are you seeing a vast reduction in gas fees with the London?
No, I don't even really look at that too much. I mean, it is reduced now. I know when it's reduced, I know when it's not, but I don't really keep track of it as a metric. I just obviously check the charts.
Oh,
keep
yeah.
it simple.
That's true. Yeah. So what do you think? So what do you see with Silo?
Silo, obviously now it's a better time than it was a month ago.
Very true.
That's a simple thing.
I think everything's a better time.
Exactly. You know, with any altcoins, I generally see them go back to at least test some of these previous levels on their breakouts. You know, so I'd still be looking for a 3.3 and then even potentially a 0.17 or a 0.18.
Yeah, it's like ranked like 700, something crazy. That's a pretty risky move. But if you're like, look at Solana, look at Theta and T-Fuel and stuff like that. Those, I mean, especially T-Fuel. I mean, the mainnet 3.0 launch is going to be happening June 30th. Gosh, I think that's
for T-Fuel or for Theta.
Well, Theta, the Theta network.
Theta.
Yeah.
Theta network. Yeah. It's definitely on my road. It's something I want to get. I'm just not overly concerned because I just still see the Bitcoin values of them all drop. Like I don't really see a bottom yet for their BTC values. So if their price goes up, I'll still be buying Bitcoin. So I'm still going to be making the gain on the Bitcoin value.
It's a safe play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another big thing. Like people, you know, like, I mean, JC, you get the same thing. Emails like, hey, talk about my project, Safe Panda or whatever else. We help pandas. Like, that's dumb. And,
I know.
And I'm like, no. So like, I mean, a lot of these things are just so, they're just so risky. Like even like, I think some of the top 100, but I mean, geez, like, okay. Chesney Blair makes a good point. Dominance, Chili's, anyone. I like Chili's fundamentally. I mean, the biggest sport out there is soccer. People love soccer. Chili's gives you access to really vote and almost have governance on your favorite teams because they have it on essentially the blockchain. So you can vote on what you want, like, I don't know, Manchester United to play in this with this type of jersey and in this format. It's just like Chili's. I can just see like giving people access to their favorite sports heroes. So I like that one for sure. And it just got listed in Voyager. I don't know, Jason. I don't think you can't use that.
I don't think it's Australia, but I know a Voyager. Like, it was actually a crypto that I bought into when it was like destroyed. It was XVG. Is that what Voyager is?
VGX.
B?
Yeah, V.
Oh, V.
Yeah, V as in Victor. V as in Victor. GX.
I thought it was on more than. Oh no, I think they use the ticker B.
Oh
Binance.
yeah, you guys. Yeah, it's something different in Binance. It's shoot, I forgot.
I'm just gonna look up Voyager. Yeah, it's BQX.
Yeah, that's it. BQX on Binance.
So I was trading it on BTC versus BTC. Yeah, see all my lines are up here, and I was looking at it last year. I remember messaging it to a friend, and we were like wanting to trade it from these levels, waiting for these breakouts. That's right. And then I just got sick of it. I saw it go up and down and just sold it. Yeah, I think I made a little profit, but then it just did this. I'm like, damn it. Oh
well. Yeah. So like,
yeah.
Like I had.
Yeah, look at this. I did this whole thing up on the channel as well. Voyager. This is when I was actually trading it. Sorry, I cut you off there, but
no, good stuff.
Level of support, 300, 600, 900. So this is what I teach and what I look at every time. They were my levels. Oh yeah. I was trading it from here. So I was looking at 300, 600, 900. Okay. Waiting for the breakout. I got the breakout. I thought, sweet, double my money. Let's keep going. And then it did.
Did that?
Yeah. I said, screw it. All right, I'm out. I got my profit. I'm out. This thing's going to be a shit.
So I'm going to tell everybody on the show, take a real hard look at Voyager again. Take a real hard look. And because I did this price prediction video, which everybody loves price prediction videos, but just, newsflash, they're all guesses. So yeah. I talked about Voyager it was January 7th. And I gave my price predictions for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, all this stuff. And one I talked about was Voyager. And I'm pretty conservative. Like Bitcoin, I thought the highest it could go was 150K. Ethereum, I thought the highest it could go was 10K. I think Cardano, I put at $5. That was the highest I thought it could go. Theta, I put it like $20 and it actually made it. I mean, all the different things I don't like to go crazy, nonsense.
Yeah.
And then on Voyager, I said it's going to $30, and it was at 29 cents. And so, like,
why would you say $30?
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. So, like, I made this prediction, and then the next day I'm on with Market Rebellion, those guys, and CJ, he's the TA guy. He's like, hey Rob, he goes, yeah. He goes, great call, except for Voyager. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, $30. Come on, man. That's just clickbait. I'm like, listen, CJ, I'm telling you. And of course, it was 29 cents. Then like the next couple of days, it went to 65 cents. Then $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. I think it went up to $7. And I was feeling like a pretty big genius. And I was like, so I told you. And as soon as you say this, everybody watch this. As soon as you say, I told you so, then it just drives down. And all of a sudden it went from 5 to 4 to 3. I think it's like $2.89. But here's the thing. You have to understand something.
That's what Trump did. Go on.
Exactly. Told you, huge China, blah, blah, blah. So like the whole thing about this is when you take a look at Voyager, the reason why it fell so hard is because if you believe in Metcalfe's law, the whole thing with utility and the network, the more people on the network, the more it grows. Voyager had a big problem. They went from 70,000 users in December. Then when everything happened with the AMC and with Wall Street bets and everything for Robinhood, and they kind of got put out, a bunch of them went to Voyager to trade cryptocurrency because it was available in America. And they went from 70,000 people to almost 1 million in a month.
Yeah.
And they had so many problems with customer service that even I stopped recommending them. And I said, you shouldn't use Voyager for a while. And of course, I heard about it from Steve, the CEO, sent me a nice little message. And I was like, listen, man, it is what it is. I can't lie to my people. And and that was it for a while. Now he said, give me 90 days and we'll fix it. And he did. And customer service is great. Now they're about to release this Voyager loyalty program. So the more Voyager tokens that you hold, the more that you get. So it's like 500, 1,000, something else. And you get like a percentage booster. It goes from like 0.5 to 1% to 1.5. So like USDC, I think you get like 8% interest. And if you get the booster, it's like 9.5%. Then on top of that, you get a free debit card. Then on top of that, you get your fees back or like 1x, 2x, and 3x, and a whole different host of things. And that's going to go live at the end of this month or early in July. And once that happens, then the Voyager token has real utility, and I think it'll go up. That was a very long explanation, but I think it's going to do well.
It has some utility. Yeah, if it has some utility, because it's essentially, it's crypto.com. You've heard of those, but I don't think the US can use crypto.com.
Yeah, I never, did you ever talk to those guys? Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have sponsorship with them, but I used them way before they got in contact with me. I had my card. I was doing videos on them like, I don't know what it was, 2018, 2019. I can't remember. I got my card. It was cool to have a crypto debit card. Yeah.
So like, they reach out to me and they talk to me and they're like, because I'm like, well, can US customers use it? And like, well, kind of. They were kind of going back and forth. And I was like, I don't think that they can. Like, well, and I think they made it clear to me. I just wasn't smart enough to understand it. But I don't really talk about it too much because, again, I mean, Australia, you guys, I mean, I hear it from my Australian users like, Rob, you're a moron. You don't talk about crypto.com. Yes, I know. I'm a moron. That's true.
Yeah,
and
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I get it. So, but yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, there's a few of them now. They're good. It's all, they're all out there. There's a few more coming through. You got some comments.
Zia Ramen, thank you. Robert Jason is too much of a trader. He was pushing fear last few days, and he was obviously wanting Bitcoin to get to $20 so he can buy and flip. Well, of course, that's what we do. No, Zia, thank you for donating. We appreciate it. Well, Jason appreciates it. Also Zia said,
Zia trolls me on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, look, a troll that pays you is not bad. Okay, thank you.
No, and then Zia says, there's another one. He goes, I bought hand over fist in Voyager yesterday and early this morning, kept buying the dollar range. I like your style. And then Zia says, Rob, you said Manchester United. That's my time. Maybe Zia will at some point try trolling me. Fear.
Yeah. Someone asked as well about Rob, digital asset news. It's linked in the title of the video and linked in the description as well. So digital asset news. Not digital asset investor, digital asset news.
Yeah, digital asset investor.
There's another channel. There's another one.
Is that the guy with the thick Southern accent?
I think so. Yeah. And he would only ever talk about XRP.
Oh yeah. So that was one of my favorite. He was one of my favorite guys to listen to when I was in XRP. Now that's hopium. That's hopium.
That is.
Nothing against Dai. Dai's a smart guy. He's a nice guy.
But yeah, they just get really on the bandwagon of XRP. When you get really like maximalist about something, you just run the other way.
But so this is the great thing about you being an investor. I mean, being a trader, because I don't think traders don't get too hung up on the whole things. I think it's fundamental guys like me who look into it like, this is going to be big, this is going to be big. And then we kind of lose sight of the other things that are out there and maybe under ancillary information.
Because you put your heart and soul into the research that you've done. You know, like you've done a lot on this company. Whereas I put my heart and soul into the research on GAN analysis and Wyckoff theory. And so I devote all my time to learning the trade, learning the method, and then I can apply that to anything. And so when someone does TA wrong, I get really triggered. I'm like, this is not Wyckoff. You are screwing this up. And I see like all the other bigger channels, Journey talking about Wyckoff and this guy talking about Wyckoff, and they're talking about, I'm like, you guys have never traded in your life and everyone's talking about Wyckoff. Stop triggering me, like.
Yeah, stop triggering me. This is retarded. I don't want to hear about this. Yeah, man.
It gets the trading name out there. It's good.
Exactly. And this is what I think about like with, especially in this part in crypto. We know that news can move the market crazy, right? You got car salesman guy, he'll send a tweet about Dogecoin, boom, off it goes, right? You got Kramer, car salesman, yeah. And then you got Kramer saying, I'm going to sell Bitcoin and it's not going to ever go up. Boom, it goes. Then China comes out for the 30th time and says we're going to ban Bitcoin, the 30th time. And then of course,
speaking of that,
goes down.
Do you still have more time, or do you want to? You got a bit more time to chat?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched your video yesterday or the day before. You were chatting with the guys from New Mine.
Yes, great guy.
Yeah. I felt like the news about China banning mining is great. Let's get it out of there. Let's decentralize it again. I can't see anything wrong with it. It'll take a month or two, get them set up, away we go. Was there anything else that they talked about discussing there that was important to note about the whole manipulation of markets and how things are working?
You know, there's always, man, Zia is just on fire. Jason is cool though. I do love his videos. I love to watch you, all respect and peace. Look at that.
Flipped him. Thank you, Zia.
Thank you.
Is that a guy? I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, because the picture on Twitter, sorry to spend a little time on this. The picture on Twitter is a dog with laser eyes. And Zia in Italian is auntie, or for you guys, aunt.
Ah, see? Auntie Ramen.
Yeah. Auntie Ramen. Yeah. So I don't know. I always think of auntie. I'm like, why is my auntie talking to me?
Talking trash to you. That's what my aunt does to me. so
like, damn it, auntie. Yeah.
Damn it, you suck, Rob. All right. So
sorry, the mining. Back to it.
Yeah. So the mining, so like there's always this. There's a very simple explanation for the market going up and down, right? And that simple explanation is it is manipulation, right? It's the easiest thing to say, but really, if we peel back the layers, not so much all the time. And so when we were talking with Ibrahim, he's the CEO of New Mine. He's like, look, he goes, the market fell because there's a lot of bad stories about China banning Bitcoin miners. Not that they banned the Bitcoin miners, they just shut the electricity off. That's essentially what happened. Like, you're not going to get electricity. He goes, and he told me before the show, he goes, China's not going to be able to shut down 100% of operations. There's still going to be some illegal mining being done in Bitcoin because there's money to be made. He goes, but for the big ones like the Ant Pool, the BTCs, and those type of places, they're done for. He goes, I know they're done because they've reached out, not specifically them. Let me just preface that. He goes, we are inundated with so many people reaching out to us who want to relocate to UK, to Europe, to North America, where we've set up shop for all our Bitcoin miners. He goes, we can't keep up. And he goes, so right now you're going to hear these bad stories and the news is going to move the market just like we've seen before. And people are going to see, they're going to hear the same nonsense that we know is untrue, which is, this is bad. China's going against Bitcoin, which means that if a government's going against Bitcoin, then all the governments are going to go against Bitcoin. That is ridiculous to think about. So I just want to make mention of one thing. Even in the great state of Texas, where I live right now, our governor, Greg Abbott, came out a week and a half ago and said, I just signed into law our master plan for blockchain technology. And then he went on further the day after to talk about we're going to get into digital assets and cryptocurrencies. And we're going to really take the bull by the horns, kind of what he said, as far as this industry. So in America, and I think in a lot of different places, there is the US government, but then there are individual states and the governors govern that state. So even if you have the US government go, we're going to shut it all down like they did with marijuana, you still have an individual states that go, nope, we're going to legalize it. That's what we're going to do. And so it's the same thing happening here. So he goes, look, if you think it's manipulation, it's just stories right now, but people don't get it. This is great news. This had to happen. We can get this out of there. And then all this narrative about the non-renewables, now we can start to quantify that and take a look at it. If it's in like Australia, if it's in a UK, if it's in a North America, and we can actually have auditors go there and go, how much percentage are you using for renewable energies? Great. Now we can tell all these shareholders or whoever wants to buy into Bitcoin that it's all renewable energies, and we can move past this stupid narrative and go to the next part. That was it.
What were they doing about mining in these other countries, like UK, where power is not that cheap, or Australia's power is not cheap here? It's ridiculously expensive. Yeah.
See, that's just it. Like Jason, to be honest with you, I threw Australia in just to be nice. But I will tell you this.
Okay, yeah.
In Texas, if you're a miner listening, just come to Texas, especially West Texas where I live. It's super cheap. We have nothing but, first of all, you know how hot it is today? It's 106 degrees here.
Ooh,
and
I know it's 40 something for us Aussies who don't do Fahrenheit or anyone else in the world.
So we have a ton of solar panels, and we have wind turbines up the wazoo. And we even have one called Layer 1 Technologies, which was it is the brainchild of Peter Thiel, one of the PayPal mafia members, billionaire, who created it as a Bitcoin mining operation. And that's just one of them. We've got a ton of them here in Texas. And that's why Abbott was so adamant about getting these things passed, because he sees the money. Follow the money. So if we can bring the Bitcoin miners here and it's cheap, let's do that. And then I just saw, I want to share with
You can share posts. You can share stuff on here if you want. You just put it up, and
let me share
allow it. Yeah.
I will, Jay. I will allow it. It's safe for work. Let me see. I got to find it first. It was a piece from.
We're getting our good trolls in today. Bogdanov is here.
I do it for the trolls.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Bizanacci?
No.
YouTube?
What's that? What's that?
Oh, hilarious. When you get off, watch Bizanacci.
You send it. Okay, send it to me.
I'll send you some. I'll send you some. Yeah.
Hey, can I share my screen on this one, or I can't?
You just have to
share.
Go to share at the bottom, and then
I see it.
Share specifically which screen. Otherwise, we'll see everything that you're doing.
Perfect. So take a look at this. Can everybody see my Twitter account?
Yep. You can control it from your end.
Perfect. So what we got here, this was from Documenting Bitcoin. This is at Documenting Bitcoin. And it was it's a small little snippet piece. It says China Logistics from a firm in Guangzhou, I think I nailed it, is airlifting 6,600 pounds of Bitcoin miners to Maryland, USA. Almost 7,000 pounds of Bitcoin miners. And they talk about a crackdown on Bitcoin mining is a geostrategic blunder for China and a chance for the U.S. to secure jobs, its energy grid, and a place in the digital economy. And I have to tell you, to me, let me stop the share.
Yeah.
Whoops, wrong one.
No.
Oh, we did it. I did it right. To me, this is the big thing. China has to control things with their digital yuan. There can be no competition. So there's only one reason to get rid of Bitcoin, because it can be treated as a currency in all cryptocurrencies. So it's in their best interest. It would, in the army, would say it would behoove them to get rid of Bitcoin, and that's what they did. And I honestly thought it was going to take a lot longer, but because of the free market system, I thought miners would eventually move out, or we'd get more be created in America or UK or wherever else. But China just gave us a huge gift, and they said, miners, get out. Cool, we'll take all you.
Yep. I will have to find somewhere. I know it's out there. I haven't looked it up. What is a profitable, like, how much can you mine Bitcoin to be profitable? It used to be like 6 or 8 grand or something.
Yeah. You know who we should have on?
Who?
Well, Ibrahim. I should get you in touch with Ibrahim over at, because he's,
yes, please.
Yeah, he's the guy that, I mean, he was telling me, they've been in the game since 2015. And he's like, yeah, this is the time to do it. And of course, because the mining difficulty dropped precipitously because of all the different miners that just went offline. So if you're a at-home Bitcoin miner, today's the day. I would fire up that machine and just see if I get mint blocks. Why not?
Because if the pricing is not right, like China was what are they doing? A few cents per kilowatt or whatever it is. And then I saw for Miami, it was like maybe 10 cents. And I think they could get it for about 3 cents in Kazakhstan. I'm like, why would they go to Miami and then have to pump like air conditioners as well as the mines and the miners when they could go to Kazakhstan for a few cents? Have you
seen the people in Miami? Everybody's in shape. That's why.
That's like the Gold Coast where I live here. I just live on the beach. It's literally just all beach up and down for 30 kilometers or whatever it is. Everyone's out from sunrise exercising. It's good.
Nice.
Winter is barely winter here. Anyway,
I'll take that. Hey, so take a look at this. Talking about prices for.
Did you hit share?
No, just in a bit I will. This is what I was talking about as far as like layer 1 technologies. These slick guys, this is West Texas. What they did was they figured out a way they produce so much energy over there that the electric power grid said, hey, if you don't mine Bitcoin, we'll pay you for it. We'll pay you for your electricity. That's how cheap it is. I think it went down to like 1.5 or 2 cents. Let me see if I can find it. That's not bad.
Got some Gold Coast love here while you find the section.
Sure.
Gold Coast. I'm an ex-Brisbane resident too. Yeah, the Goldie.
Let's see. Anyhow, yeah, it was something around, maybe it was 3 cents, but it was pretty damn low. But just like what you said, let me stop the screen, about how the only problem is it's so super hot here. So like that is not ideal for the miners. So if you want to do something in like Greenland or in some kind of mountains in Kazakhstan, then of course it's cheaper. But the way they do it in layer 1 is they submerge the miners in some type of fluid liquid gel, and it cools them down enough to where they're actually able not to spin so hard. Like on your computer right now, it doesn't work so hard. So that's how they do it. Man, Zia is on fire.
Yeah.
We'll
have a look at Solomatic. Anti-Zia.
Anti-ramen.
Do you like either or both? I would just say, we'll go back to that. I'll just say Sol and Matic. I like both. I've got Sol. I don't have any Matic at the moment. I'm waiting for my BTC price targets to be hit. My Sol BTC and Matic BTC. That's pretty much where I'm at. Your dogs, Marble and Frosty. Hello to Marble and Frosty. Thanks, Zia.
Marble and Frosty. Nice.
I still don't know if Zia is a male or a female. I must have missed the comment here.
If it
sounds like a female name.
If it's on crypto Twitter, it's a dude. Statistically.
Or it's a dude. Yeah, no, statistically.
Zia, I don't know. Whatever it is. Okay. What are we at?
Girl down here. Her name was Zia. I'm like, what? Zia? Anyway.
Is that you? Zia, that one? Yeah. She's like, yeah, I'm paying you money.
These are a couple of my favorite YouTubers. Haven't heard anything but reality out of yeah. I'm old. I can detect BS. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah,
Kevin. As you get older, as I do myself, you can the BS meter goes off pretty fast. Remember back in the day, everything was going to the moon. 2017 was like you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a YouTuber in the face that was just like, Bitcoin's going to 1 million. Just ridiculous, right? And now it's like it kind of calms down. But I'm glad for channels like yourself, like George, like Coin Bureau, like Alex, and all the guys that I listen to, Hashoshi, that just give like reality and don't
crypto tips. Put crypto tips in there.
Crypto. Oh, great couple. And and they just give you like the news and what's going on, and not like, hey, did you know that on December 17th at 12 o'clock, Ethereum is going to $10 million? Something stupid.
It's pretty much turned into like TikTok. You got every person.
Zia's a man. We're trying to convince my wife of that. I knew it. Perfect. Zia, I knew it.
Excellent.
Well, thank you.
Zia.
Well, now we know who's trolling and paying. And that makes sense. That makes more sense.
That's it.
What do we got? What do we got in the chats? Anything?
Kazakhstan. Going back to our mining, Kazakhstan is authoritarian. Miners moving there is asking for a repeat of problems.
Makes sense to me. See, and this is the thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, I talked to Ibrahim. I said, why did the miners wait so long to get out of China? They knew it was coming. And I said, is this more of they could have been proactive and now they're reactive, and it kind of screws the whole market up. Imagine if we would have seen just an exodus of these miners just move slowly and start to relocate otherwise. But I mean, I guess it's like, go back to your point. Why would they have moved when they were making so much money and the electricity was so cheap? So,
yeah, I think it was on yours. Oh, maybe I was listening somewhere else. They were just dragging it out. It's like, they know it's coming. So when they were ready, when it did come, they had the plan ready. Pack it up, go, know where they were going, whether they had to get visas for wherever it is they are. Like, how would they even get to the US? All these Chinese just flooding into the US. I suppose they're not that big of an operation. There's not like thousands of people on them. Yeah.
Now, money talks. Money solves all issues.
That's true.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and if Texas is opening up for it, Florida's opening up for it, or at least Miami, I guess. Puerto Rico, it's hot. But yeah, I guess it's getting up there.
Yeah, I don't see Puerto Rico happening. They can't even keep the lights on sometimes. I don't think they can keep the Bitcoin miners going.
I think we've covered a lot today.
I think it's a lot.
Yeah. We got through a lot of the manipulation. I had a really good time chatting. Everyone's enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll have to do it again soon. This time for you is pretty good. This time for everyone else is pretty good, except for the Europeans. But we all know they like to stay up late. So
Animals,
and
party animals.
all the time, party all the time. Good man.
All right. Well, hey,
I'll have to come on
appreciate
your
it.
channel at some point too. You know, if we're over there, we are. If not, if you guys want to come across to Rob's channel, link is down below. Click that. Yeah. Sorry,
Sounds good.
you were going to say?
I was going to say, yeah, I'll have you on, especially when we start to cover some more of the nitty gritty TA stuff. So you can come on, you can show me some charts. I can pretend like I know what you're talking about, and then we can go from there. That'd be great.
Yeah, I go on a rant, so cut me off. I'll do the beginning stuff, and then just cut me off, and we'll chat. That's good.
Awesome.
Cool, man. All right. Thank you once again, guys. You know what to do. Subscribe, like, follow Rob over at Digital Asset News. Heaps of stuff going on. Don't go anywhere, because this is the time in the market where the money is made. This is like 2019, early 2020. Even if this goes on for another 6 months, be patient. Patience is where the money is. So, yeah, thank you once again, Rob. I'll say you stay on just for a sec, and I'll end the broadcast. Okay. Guys, thank you again for joining us. I hope you've had a great time with us. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, everything. All the links are down below. We'll see you over there for the rest of the day. Catch you next time. And until then, have more fun to get more done.